Hey, John Morris here, and welcome to the ultimate guide to getting clients. So if you're someone who's been struggling with how to find clients, what to say to those clients to convince them to hire you, how to charge more for your services, that kind of thing, then you're going to want to dig into this video because I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do to end the how do I get clients problem that you might be having once and for all. And it really comes down to three things. And we're going to be walking through those three things in this video. Now, quickly, before we get into that, in case you don't know who I am, my name is John Morris. I've been a freelance developer for over 15 years. Some of the clients that I've worked with include people like Tim Ferriss, Michael Hyatt, Lewis Howes, Inc. magazine. I've also now taught over 26,000 other freelancers how to charge more, make more, and work less. And look, I only tell you that. I know you don't necessarily care about those people or those numbers. I get that, but just to let you know that what I'm going to share with you today is based off of real world experience, things I've learned actually doing this. This isn't something that I just Googled real quick like a lot of people do. This is based off of years and years of experience actually doing this. So I just want to make sure that you're comfortable knowing that this is stuff that's actually going to work. And like I said, it comes back to three things. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to just figure out what services you're going to offer. Now, I know you know that, and I know you probably already know kind of the general category of service that you're going to offer. But what you really want to do is move from the vague to the specific, and then also not overcomplicate or overthink it. So when I talk about moving from the vague to the specific, you could go over to Fiverr right now as an example. And if you're a graphic designer, you can find people who are making PowerPoint slides as their service. Now that might seem like something that seems a little too simple, that no one's going to pay for, whatever it is. But there are people over there that are making money making PowerPoint slides. And it's not a little bit of money. I can show you a guy who's made over $100,000 making PowerPoint slides at a minimum, because that's if you just take the number of units he's sold times his lowest price service level. He actually has higher priced ones, so he's probably made quite a bit more than $100,000, but a minimum of $100,000 creating PowerPoint slides. And he's not the only one. There's dozens and dozens of pages of other people doing the exact same thing, creating PowerPoint slides, making a living doing that. So you want to get one, to that sort of level of specific, and then two, realize, well, it doesn't have to be, I don't have to be the end all greatest graphic designer ever. I can make good money offering very, very simple services like PowerPoint slides. So one way to do that, one of the best ways to do that, is to go over to Fiverr and use Fiverr as a data research tool. It is the second largest freelancing platform on the planet behind Upwork. And all of the products or all the services there have been productized. So it allows you to get really specific and see the exact kind of things that clients are searching for and wanting in your overall category. So you're not guessing what kind of services to offer, and you're not just being vague and saying graphic design, which doesn't really mean a whole lot to clients. It allows you to get really, really specific. So the thing to do is go over there. You'll see there are categories listed across the top. Just pick the one that you're in. So graphic design, writing, web development, whatever. And then you'll see a bunch of subcategories under that. So look through those subcategories. Some of those may be fine just how they are. If you look under graphic design, you're going to see things like logos. Well, that's pretty specific. So that's specific enough that that could be what you do. Or you're going to see car wraps. That's really specific. You're going to see stationery and business cards and those sorts of things. So those are all really specific, and those could be just what you need right there. But under like web development, you'll find it's more general, like WordPress and so forth. So it depends what you do. But pick out 2 or 3 or 4 of those subcategories that appeal to you, and then click on one, and it's going to give you a list of all of the services that people are offering in that category. It's going to show you what they're charging, and it's going to show you how many units they've sold. And you can actually go over to the drop down on the right side and change the filter to best selling, or the ordering to best selling. And now you're going to see the best selling services on the platform ordered right there for you. So it's invaluable research when you're trying to figure out what service can I offer that people will actually pay for? Well, all the data is right there. It's all productized, it's all categorized, and they'll actually allow you to see it ordered by best selling. What are the services that people are paying real money for right now on the second largest platform on the planet? So it's invaluable data, and that can help you to figure out what it is that you want to do. The last thing on this then is just if you've never done this math, if you've never thought about it, realize you don't have to overcomplicate it. If you charge $100 for a really simple service and you do one a day, that's $3,000 per month off of $100 service a day. If you charge $200, that's $6,000 a month. Let's say you did 2 of those a day. That's $12,000 a month. 2 $200 services a day, and you're making $12,000 a month. So it doesn't take that much for you to make a good income with a really simple service. And the advantage of doing a simple service like that, especially if you're new, is it's a lot easier to get hired. It's a lot easier to deliver. You don't have to try and manage a $10,000 project, which can be a bear to manage. You don't have to try and convince a client to pay you $10,000, which can be hard to do as well. You can offer really simple services, get hired really pretty much right off the bat with just a couple examples where you show people what you can do, and away you go. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. You can get started with stuff that's really, really simple, but you need to figure that out first and get that specific with it so that you can really appeal to the customers or the clients that are out there and not just be vague and have a hard time with it. So start there, figure that out. The second thing you need to do then is you need to craft an irresistible offer. So again, one of the big mistakes that I see freelancers make is they decide on a service and they look at what everybody else is doing and they do the same thing. Well, if you do the same thing as everybody else, you're going to look like everybody else, and a client is going to have a hard time figuring out who's better, which one I should go with. And they're honestly, a lot of times they're just going to pick somebody sort of at random because they don't really have any good ways to evaluate and see who's different. And I get a lot of freelancers who complain about, well, how do I stand out when there's thousands of other people who are doing what I do? Well, one of the things is don't do what everybody else is doing. Don't present your offer in the exact same way they are, because you're just going to blend right in. You're really consciously causing yourself to blend in. So don't do that. Now, so one of the things that you do in order to stand out is you craft a superior offer, an offer that's better than everybody else's. So when a client looks, and it's obvious to the client, so that when they look at it, they say, this is obviously better. So the example I'll use is if you've ever watched one of those infomercials, right? The infomercial, let's say it's selling you a knife. Well, a knife is a knife, right? But if you watch the infomercial, they'll tell you why this knife is special, and it's got all these different features, and it does this, and you can cut leather and then cut tomatoes and blah, 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 right? So they're telling you why the product itself is better, but when they get to the end, they don't just sell you the one knife. They go, oh, but you can get 2 knives for the price of 1, and we're going to give you this paring knife, and we're going to give you this handy wooden block to put all of your knives in, and we're going to give you this cookbook for recipes for things you can cook with your new knife, and on and on and on, and they just pile on sort of different bonuses, all this stuff you get for the exact same price. So that is how you create a superior offer. You give the client more than what everybody else is doing. Now, the question is, what do I give them that's going to really help me to stand out? And one of the things that you can do that's very powerful is create what's called a turnkey service. Now, turnkey is a bit of a buzzword, so let me explain what I mean by that. When I say turnkey, what I mean is the client looks at your service and they go, this is everything I need to get the ultimate end result, the ultimate benefit that I'm after. So the way you craft a turnkey service is you start by figuring out what that ultimate benefit, what that ultimate end result is. So to give you an example, let's say you build websites for people. Let's say you build websites for lawyers, right? You're building websites for lawyers in your local area. Well, what is it that the lawyer really wants? Why did they want a website in the first place? Now, there could be lots of reasons, but likely the main reason is they want people to search for people in that area to search for a lawyer, and their website to come up, people to go to their website, contact them, and they get business from that website. They want the website to generate revenue for them. They want money, ultimately. That's their ultimate end result. So you figure that out, and then you work backwards to your service, and you figure out what's missing. What are the gaps? What else do they need in order to get from here to the ultimate end result that they're after? So continuing with that example, let's say you build websites. Well, the website alone, right? We know this. The website alone is not going to cause them to rank high in Google for local searches. It has to be optimized. They probably have to do some content marketing, all of these things. So now those are the gaps that are missing. And so you can add on things, bonuses, whatever, that fill in those gaps. So let's say when you build a website for me, I'm a lawyer, you build a website for me, I don't just get the website, I get a course that you created on how to do SEO, local SEO for your website. You're going to optimize the website, but how they can do it through, when they're adding content and so forth. Or you're going to do a coaching program, or you're going to do a coaching program on content marketing and how they can start creating content on how and help their site rank higher in the search engines, or social media marketing, so that they can go on social media and start getting people to their website from there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? You can fill in that gap from the website to what it is that they ultimately want. And pro tip, I recommend you do it with something that doesn't create a bunch of extra work for you. So a course, a checklist, something along those lines that you can create at once and you can just deliver it. If you're going to do a coaching program, do like an email coaching program that sends them an email, every week or every couple days with content in it where you explain what to do, and then they can ask you questions from that, and all you have to do to deliver it is just answer the questions. You don't actually have to create the content or talk with them one-on-one on a phone call every time, right? Try to create something that doesn't create a bunch of extra work for you, but it still adds to the perceived value of the service. So that's how you make something turnkey, is you fill in that gap from your website to what they ultimately want, so that when the client looks at it, they go, this is everything I need. This is everything I need. I don't need anything else. I don't need to buy another course. I don't need to go and do anything else. He has everything, or she has everything that I need in order to get what I ultimately want. That's the conversation that you want them to have. When you do that, you're going to look totally different from everybody else who's offering the same service as you, because most people aren't doing it, and they're just not providing that sort of level of service. So you're going to stand out in a very positive way that makes the client want to hire you over everybody else. So that's what we talk about when we talk about making it turnkey. Now, incidentally, the idea of turnkey is actually one of 5 things that I teach you in my 5-figure formula course, which shows you how to craft a service offering, craft that offer in a way that allows you to charge $10,000 and up. So in that course, I'll teach you the 4 other things that you can do in order to get to the point where you can charge that much for your services. If you want to learn more about that, I'll drop a link in the description for the 5-figure formula course, and you can check that out. All right, so that is crafting your offer. Now, the third thing then that you need to do is you need to get that offer in front of targeted prospects. So not just anybody, you want to get it in front of targeted prospects. Now, there's 2 main ways to do this. The first is outbound marketing, and the second is inbound marketing. So outbound marketing is where you create the sales conversation. You contact somebody. You go out and meet somebody. You're the one that's initiating the sales conversation. So this would be things like going door to door, cold calling, cold emailing, that sort of thing, where you're going out and you're being aggressive, essentially. Inbound marketing would be where the client initiates the actual sales portion of the conversation. So the main way this is done is content marketing and slash social media marketing. That's the main way it's done these days. And that's where you create content They find it somehow on social media or on Google. They read through it, they like it, and then they see that you offer services, and now they go over and they fill out your quote request form. They're initiating the sales part of the process. Now, a lot of people, I think, immediately write off outbound marketing because it's kind of scary, right? Cold calling people, that sort of thing. It's not necessarily very fun or easy to do. However, keep in mind, my older brother started working for an insurance company several years back, and it was Farmers, so it's a multi-billion-dollar insurance company. And the first thing that they had him do was a lot of this kind of cold outreach. So they would have him go around, and they had door hangers, and he would go door to door and put these hangers on doors. But the real point of it was when he would go up to the house, he would ring the doorbell. If somebody came to the door, then he would talk with them a little bit and say, hey, I'm new in the area doing insurance. If you're ever looking for to switch your insurance, I can usually save people money. And then he'd give them a little pamphlet and be on his way. If they weren't there, he'd leave the little door hangers, a little bag with the pamphlet and some other information in it. So that was one of the very first things that they had him do. They'd have him go and put flyers on car windows at different parking lots. A lot of this just grind it out, beat your feet against the pavement type of stuff. Again, a multi-billion-dollar insurance company having their new agents do. Every new agent did this. That should tell you something about, whether or not this works. I had a financial advisor that worked for Edward D. Jones when I lived in Omaha come to my house doing the exact same thing. Another multi-billion-dollar company having their agents do this kind of cold outreach. So it can be very, very effective. Now, I am working on a course for that. I have a process that I've learned over the years for doing this kind of thing in a very specific way that makes it as painless as possible, yet still very effective. It's based on 4 pieces. So the first piece is I specifically target premium clients, not just any clients. So finding those premium clients in your area, then figuring out what I call their legitimate urgent need. So I want to take a pause here and talk about this because this is such a big thing. If there's one thing you take away from this video, take this away, and that is the more you can find people who legitimately need your services, because the truth is some people out there don't need your services. They already have a website. It works great. They're doing content marketing. It's SEO optimized, blah, 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 blah. They don't need your services. Don't try and beat your head against the wall trying to get those people to hire you. Find the people who don't have that stuff. Find the people who legitimately need the services that you offer. Then when you put your offer in front of those people, the superior offer that you've crafted, you're a lot more likely to get hired because they actually need what you're offering. So that's the second part. I show you how to find that legitimate urgent need with the premium clients that you're going to look up. Then how to craft your actual cold outreach, primarily email, could be a phone call, but how to actually do it in a way where it'll get read. And then from that, you create an appointment, and I show you how to go into the appointment and actually close the deal while you're in the appointment. So I'm still working on that course. It's not done, but if that's something that you're interested in, once it goes live, I'll put a link in the description. You can go over there and get sign up to get notified once that course goes live. All right, so that is outbound marketing. Now, inbound marketing, this is, again, where you're going to go out and you're going to start creating content, social media marketing, that sort of thing. The big thing here is understanding the stages of the customer awareness. So this was something I first learned from a guy named Todd Brown. The guy who actually talked about it first was a guy named Gene Schwartz way back in the 70s, who's a really well-known, considered one of the godfathers of copywriting. And he talked about the 5 stages of awareness for a customer or a prospect. So they start unaware, which means they know nothing about the problems, the solutions, the products, nothing. Then they can go to problem aware. So now they have the problem. Then solution aware, they're looking up solutions. They start to become aware of the different solutions. They decide on one category of solution, and then they start looking at the products. So they become product aware, and then they decide on a product. They buy that product or service, and now they become most aware, which is they know you and your service intimately. So these are the 5 stages. Most businesses, they focused in on the product aware stage. When someone's already had the problem, done the research, figured out the category of solution, now they're over here looking at the products. Most businesses market at the product aware stage, which means it's highly competitive. Everybody's going after those clients because they're the closest to the sale. I mean, it makes sense, and you should compete there. But that's not the only place that you should compete, because the sooner you can find them in that continuum, in those stages, the more influence you're going to have, and the more people you can bring to your solution. So if you can go back when they first have the problem, let's say they have back pain, right? And they're looking up, why do I have this back pain? What causes this back pain? And they're starting to look at solutions, and you can, get content in front of them that says, well, here's all the different solutions. You could go to a doctor. You could go to a chiropractor. You could go to a masseuse. You could go and get some icy hot from the store, one of those little patches, right? These are all of the different solutions. But let me tell you why chiropractics is the superior solution. And then you go in and you make your pitch for why chiropractics is better. You're not even talking about your product. You're talking about chiropractics in general, right? And you say, this is why chiropractics is the best. Now they read that, or they watch that video or whatever, and they go, yeah, I agree with that. And then you say, now you can learn about my chiropractic services over here. And then that's when you start talking about client reviews and portfolio and that sort of thing is over here. But if you try to take that and you start, look at my portfolio for my chiropractic clients, and they're still in the problem stage, they haven't even decided that they want a chiropractor, they're just going to tune you out. So you have to create content along those stages that meets them where they're at. And everybody in your market is at a different stage. So you want to create content for every stage. So you do create that hard-hitting sales content, portfolio, sales page, all that. But then you take it further and you now create content where you talk about why chiropractics is superior to going to a doctor or a masseuse. Then you go back a little bit further and you say, here's all of the different types of solutions that are available if you have back pain. You can go back even further and say, here's what causes back pain. It's your spine out of alignment, blah, blah, blah. That's why. And then you come back here. That's why when you go to a masseuse, it's not really solving the problem because your spine needs adjusted, and And you bring them through that process from unaware to now they're a client of yours through content. It's education-based marketing. You're not talking about your products and services back here. You're giving them information and helping them move to that next stage. The more you do that, the more clients you're going to bring your way and the more influence you're going to have over those clients, which is going to make it way easier to get hired. Because if you're the one that has brought them from that initial stage all the way to the product aware stage, whose product or service do you think they're likely going to buy? Probably going to be yours. So that's what you want to do with your content and your inbound marketing. If you look at what I do, that's essentially what I'm doing right here, right now. That's essentially what I do as well. It's what I've done for 10 years to market my services, to market my courses, everything. Is that looking at that continuum and figuring out where I can meet people and bring them towards the products and services that I offer. Along those lines, if you want the detailed version of how to do this, how to specifically create the pages, how templates for creating your content, all of lead magnets, all of that stuff, I have a course where I teach you in detail exactly what I do to have sold tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of services and courses over the years. I'll teach you exactly what I do. The course is called the AM2 Protocol. Again, I'll drop a link in the description for that as well. So there you go. That is the handling the getting clients problem. Pick a service that clients actually want, create an irresistible offer, and get that offer in front of targeted prospects. You do that. You do those three things. You do them in full faith, right? You do them all the way, not, halfway. You're going to get clients. I just don't believe that there's any way that you can really do these and do them right and not get clients. So again, that's that problem handled for you. Hopefully that sparks some insight or, gives you the process for you to follow for you to take that next step in your career and start getting the kind of clients that you want. So if you like this video, I do have also a free daily tips newsletter where I will share tips like this with you on a daily basis. You can go to johnsfreetoots.com. You'll see a list of tutorials there. You can just pick whichever one appeals most to you, or you can sign up for multiple ones if you want. They're all completely free, but when you do, you'll also be added to my daily tips newsletter, and I will send you daily tips just like this on helping you to start and grow your freelance business, charge more, make more, and work less. So again, that's johnsfreetoots.com. All right, that'll do it for the video. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate if you give it a thumbs up. If you know any other freelancers who'd benefit from watching this or getting this information, I'd appreciate if you'd share it with them. And that's it. We'll talk to you next time.